So welcome back to another video. This is TeamOverclocked, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the top 5 best bang for the buck GPUs for March 2017. These GPUs will provide you with the best performance for a variety of budgets. So let's get right into it. To start it off, we have the PowerColor RX 460 for $84. This budget GPU is clocked at 1.2 GHz and has 2 GB of VRAM, along with a low TDP of 75 watts. Since this has such a low power consumption, this won't need any external power connectors, making this a great GPU to upgrade pre-builts with cheap power supplies. Also for gaming, this should be able to run all AAA titles at 1080p, high settings at some decent frame rates. Next up, we have the PowerColor RX 470 for $155 with a $15 mail-in rebate, knocking it down to $139. This low to mid-range GPU is clocked at 1.2 GHz and has 4 GB of VRAM. Along with that, this has a TDP of 120 watts, which is pretty decent. Now, this GPU isn't the best RX 470 around, but it is still a decent GPU that has an acceptable cooler. For gaming, this should run games at 1080p high to ultra settings at some playable frame rates. Considering that this only costs $139, you really are getting a lot of performance to play with. Next up, we have the Sapphire RX 480 for $188 with a $10 mail-in rebate, knocking it down to $178. This is a decent GPU that comes clocked at 1.3 GHz along with 4 GB of VRAM and a TDP of 150 watts. This is definitely a nice 480 that includes Sapphire's Nitro Plus cooler, which should give you some overclocking headroom. Along with that, this should play all of the latest games at 1080p max settings at around 60 FPS, which is some crazy performance for this budget. Next up, we have the Sapphire R9 Theory for $255. This monster comes clocked at 1.05 GHz and has 4 GB of HBM or high bandwidth VRAM, along with a monstrous TDP of 275 watts. This extremely high power consumption is this GPU's biggest drawback, but the performance of this GPU makes it worthwhile. For gaming, this can run games at 1440p high settings at some playable frame rates. For comparison, this GPU is about 10 to 15% faster than the GTX 1060 and RX 480, while being about the same price, making this a great deal for those of you looking to game at 1440p at a sort of a budget. Last but not least, we have the Gigabyte Windforce GTX 1070 for $379. This GPU comes clocked at 1.7 GHz and has 8 GB of GDDR5 VRAM along with a TDP of 150 watts. This is a really amazing overclocker, and you should be able to get about 2 GHz out of this, and it also runs pretty cool for the performance that you're getting. In gaming, this should play all games at 1440p max settings at around 60 FPS, which is a lot of performance. If you have a lower resolution monitor, this is not the GPU for you, but if you do have a decent 1440p or even 4K monitor, I would recommend that you pick this up. There's going to be links to all of these GPUs down in the description, so please go check those out if you're interested. So yeah guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please overclock the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike this video and subscribe for some PC related content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.